Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the WGLNA Season 1 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left, David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube, /WGLNA. Guys, if you're not watching this on battleviewer.com, go over there right now and check it out. And finally, follow us on Twitter, @WGLNA, so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the community around you.
You can also check out our question of the day.
That's
For
right.
the very last time, what was your favorite match of the season?
And tonight was the match that I loved the most, which made the whole season for me. High Voltage versus Lamp, especially on Ghost Town, but even on, I mean, it's just so much fun to watch them. David, what about you?
I'll go with it. I'm not even going to bother speculating or arguing anymore at this point.
It was so good. But right now, the fourth and final matchup of this night and the season before the playoffs is Maple versus Noble. On the side of Maple, it's Out of Sight. On the side of Noble, it's Comps. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hello, hello indeed. All right, Out of Sight, can I start with you? Question of the night, really. It's our question of the night, not just question of the day.
It's the end of the season. We got to ask these questions.
We got to ask these questions. Season's coming to an end. Out of Sight, looking at what you guys' experience has been so far, what are your final thoughts?
Well, it's been fun. Definitely learned a lot, and hoping to definitely get back for next season.
Definitely. Absolutely. I was saying congratulations again for both you and Rival coming out of the Silver Leagues. It's been great and such a pleasure to see you guys play in the Gold Leagues, and we do hope to see you guys again next season for sure.
All right, Out of Sight, do you have anything you would like to say to your fans?
I know you guys have been, anticipating my release of my mixtape, so there's some unfortunate news. My label actually pushed back the release date, so you might have to wait on that a little bit longer. So.
Oh, yeah. That happens. Yeah. That happens.
No.
Okay.
No.
Comps!
Comps, over to you, sir. Going to ask you the same question. Season's coming up to an end. What are you guys' final thoughts?
It's been a great season so far, and we look forward to the playoffs. This season has shown that this new format, has developed well, and I think it's here to stay, and it's shown to be exciting, so it's been good overall.
Absolutely, I got to agree with you guys there, too. It's been so fun to watch you, and especially these last couple of weeks, just really play to such an amazing extent, and best of luck as we continue on into the playoffs.
All right, Comps, got anything you want to say to your fans?
Yep. Oh, Out of Sight's mic is screwing up, but basically...
Yours isn't. Keep going.
Mine isn't. All right.
You're good.
Yeah, so make sure you check out Noble's website. We've got some good stuff on there, good content for new players, a lot of information about the league, and thank you for showing up every week and supporting us. And make sure to follow us on Twitter or myself at the Comps. So,
all right, I gotta
plug.
I gotta ask the tough question here. Can we find your mixtape on the website?
SoundCloud.
Oh, there we go.
That's where it's at,
thank goodness.
so.
I was about to pick it up and
plug for
throw it
somebody
again.
not associated with. All right, guys. Next time we do this, you really got to dial down your level of excitement in these face-offs, okay?
Come on, the final one.
It's too much.
Tone it down. Out of Sight. Do you have anything to say to Comps before we get into this last match of the night?
Good luck.
There it is. Comps. And your response.
Have fun.
Wow, there we go, guys.
That's just cute.
That was so nice. I love how they coordinated that there.
Whoa.
Best of luck to both of you guys as we go into this next matchup. Let's go. We're going to break. We'll see you guys soon. We'll see you guys very soon.
That was something else.
That was terrifying.
You know, I almost want to reach back all the way back to the commercial break. And in watching that, I was sitting there wondering, I wonder how many people out there who are going to major in statistics were just like, wait, no, I gotta change my major right now. Like, there's no way I can deal with this the way HIP does. It's so much detail.
It's just too intense, guys. But you can do it, I promise.
I can speak from experience on that point. It's daunting at first, and then it gets to be used to.
But
let's get back to tanks.
And so let's
been way out of pocket.
Let's pull up the roster for both of these teams. On the side of Maple, on the side of Noble, you guys know them, you guys love them, you guys been seeing them all season. They're here to play for you guys. At least Maple one last time before the season closes and we get into playoffs. Now, David, now that we know what's happened tonight, so Elevate has won the first match. High Voltage and picked up the second one. That one didn't really matter too much. And then Simp just picked up that third match. looking at this for how it's going to change the standings going to the bracket playoffs. What happens if Noble wins? What happens if Noble ties? And what happens if Noble?
Okay, so if Noble loses completely,
Totally.
then they take 5th.
Okay.
If Noble gets even 2 points, then they remain where they are. Sorry, if they only get 1 point, then they tie with Elevate, and Elevate takes 3rd, they take 4th. If they get 2 points, they beat Elevate, they take 3rd, Elevate takes 4th, and Simp takes 5th.
Wow.
And yeah, if they win outright, then same result.
All right.
So every single point in this battle matters. Which
yeah.
is a grand situation for the penultimate battle of the regular season.
Well, and this is what it's all boiled down to. Ladies and gentlemen, the 4th and final matchup is ready to go. Noble versus Maple Freedom. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
For Maple Freedom, we have an IS-3 and 5 T-54 lightweights. Throwing an FV-304, that's 7
Why
tanks.
not?
Noble, IS-3, 5 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. Slowing down the tank count that time, so everybody who isn't an auctioneer could actually understand what I was saying.
No, that's fine. I mean, I still have to go ahead and hype up a moment that is yet to be hypeable, but that will come as a surprise sometime in this next match. But right now, Dodo, ex-soldier, and Akula for the side of Noble pushing up on top of the hill. Maple Freedom just going to give it to him, and instead sending 5 members over by the lighthouse, making a one-line push. Let's see how this turns out for him. Listen, Noble is wise to have spot. JD Management, 520 points of damage in that T-54, but does make it to safety finally behind some rocks. Now the rest of Maple Freedom stacked on top of the lighthouse. David, usually when we see a push like this, we see more members than just JD make it across. Is that gonna hinder Maple Freedom, which is having that one member that made it?
Potentially, absolutely. One member is thus extremely open to a counter push of even just 2 54s. Militant and Dodoma, or no, it's Militant and Germ this time. Peeling off, heading towards that south area. JD Benjamin by himself, not a whole lot of hit points on him. Grand total of 730, but he is well supported from the island, so it is a bit of a trap. If Noble goes out there and they're in a shot solution from the people on the island there at E1, E2, E1, F1, then they can very well die. But if they can find cover and engage Banjo Man from a place where they can't be fired at from anybody in the north, easy kill, and it will spell the very beginning of the end for Maple.
Let's see what continues to unfold as the time going down. Cap pressure being applied for Maple there. On to the Western cap, the number 2 cap, and it looks like Giggles is going to be the focus. Ex-Soldier taking a shot into Felix. And that FB-304. Pressure continue to go down. German Milton fighting against JD Benjamin, making sure he is in his position. Now Felix's job right now as an artillery, I mean, he's on top of the hill. If Giggles goes down, I mean, he's got to worry pretty quickly. So is he going to just, press up on top of the team and just open that flank? I mean, it feels like right now Giggles is a very important position.
He is. He's making sure the team itself doesn't get flanked. So he's not going to go anywhere. He's going to make sure that Marsh, Ex-Soldier, whoever wants to wrap around the BC area, they will get wrecked. Ex-Soldier can also be hit from Giggles. Giggles can also be hit by Ex-Soldier. So they're in kind of an awkward standoff. But the rest of Maple Freedom starting to rotate over the top into what will be a dicey situation in the best of times. An absolute slaughter in the worst of times.
Well, let's see if they can pull out from such daunting. Oh, and as I finish, Canadian Impact finds Giggles. USA Rocks now getting focused as they push up on top of the hill. Let's see if Felix can do anything back there for the rest of the team. Gets a shot to Akula, but Ex-Soldier finds USA Rocks all. Not a single tank from Noble is down. Mr. Man getting shot from the hill as well.
3.
Marsh gonna pick that one up. Now on to out of sight. Ex-Soldier still with the focus. Germ
4.
picking that one up. 4 tanks down for Maple Freedom. Just Veggie, JD, and Felix remain. And David, you were right. That was just a slaughter coming out there.
Well, I guess that was the worst of times.
That was the worst of times for Maple Freedom.
For Maple Freedom, and the best for Noble. A bit of a literary start to that one. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. JD Benjamin was by himself against an overwhelming number of tanks.
He's getting shot 95. He goes down. Akula picks that one up. And now Felix gonna drop to Germ. The first victory going to Noble onto Mines. Very decisively, too, not losing a single tank. That's a great way to start out this final match. Very strong, very decisive indeed. Now
that'll do it.
So did it really come down to just JD Benjamin's positioning, being caught out there by himself, and just giving them the freedom to push around the hill and find the flanks where they needed to. I mean, it just seemed like positioning was all in favor of Noble.
Yeah, and it wasn't JD Benjamin's fault at all.
Okay.
Whoever designed the strategy, whoever made those calls, that was the person to blame.
Gotcha.
Just overall, borderline one of the worst things you can do in that situation.
Just go like, hey, let's push the hill now.
Yeah, I mean that's if you play the hill at all, you know how to stop that. It's I've seen teams miraculously throughout the season. Don't get me wrong, we've seen teams do it,
Pull it off,
and crawl right through it, and it blows my mind every time.
Okay.
But that wasn't one of those times.
No, X-Soldier. Man, X-Soldier with that positioning, just right over top of the bush, getting the shots from behind all the tanks going up. But yeah, it just seemed pretty hopeless there.
Yep.
So if you're Maple, I mean, if you kind of look back and kind of see the entire map, and you got yourself in that position where you have most of your tanks on the western side, you only have Giggles, one tank in the back waiting for a flank. How do you turn that into your favor? How do you pull the enemy team out? I mean, they tried cap pressure, that didn't work. Was that just pretty much it?
Once they surrendered the entire hill control, and they didn't have enough tanks in the southwest to make any... Well, honestly, once they surrendered entire hill control, it's pretty much the end. We've talked about this a couple of times, but you've got to find a way of forcing where X-Soldier was off so he can't spot you, and then maybe go around the 8-9, get behind him. It's just... It's no good options. No good options once you isolate yourself that badly, that quickly.
Well, let's see if Maple Freedom makes that same mistake again, and Noble will continue to find the victories. Ladies and gentlemen, we're into it on mine, same size as last time. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
For Maple Freedom, we have 5 T-54 lightweights and 2 LTTBs. It's an entirely Russian lineup. For Noble,
I'm ready.
An IS-3, 5 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. There is one sole American tank in this entire battle.
Surrounded by friends. Let's see how this goes. It looks like the hill fight is what both teams are looking for. Maple Freedom more bunched up than Noble here. Let's see what's going to benefit, the spread or the condensed fight. Well, Maple Freedom coming to the top. Actually, not even over the hill at all. Giggles has to get tracked, making Mr. Man ram right into the back of him. Milton being focused. He actually escapes with 10 points of HP. And now the shot's going all the way across. Maple Freedom trying to shut down Noble. And they're going to find Germ. The first tank going down for Noble. And now two tanks falling. Milton finally does fall. And Giggles is low for the side of Maple Freedom. But Noble having to back off here. Maple Freedom clearly have control of this hill, but they are extremely low. Maple, or Mr. Man, finding X-Soldier. 3 tanks falling just like that for the side of Noble. Not a single one from Maple Freedom has fallen yet, although they are extremely low.
They very well could all still lose.
This would be... really?
Yeah. Yeah. They're all trapped behind that rock, and if they poke it all... Okay. Veggie actually holds the entire match in his hand. If he can take out Dodoma, it's over.
Here we go. Looks like he's going for it now. One more shot, and he'll pick it up unless this bounces. Dodo should be able to find it. The shot for Veggie lining it up. He actually does miss. Dodo's going to be on the reload. Who's going to pick it up first? Veggie finally finds that one, finishes off the kill. Like you're saying, that might have been the deciding factor for this battle.
Okay, Marsh actually made a very smart play in the meantime, falling back to J8. If he can find the correct angle without being shot, he can trickle in damage on these guys. But for the most part, Maple Freedom just needs to...
Oh, no!
Do that.
Felix falling off the side to his demise. Marsh, though, taking some damage there. And that T-37 looks like Giggles just picked that one up. A tank falling, though, for Maple Freedom. Now making it maybe more and more plausible for Noble to take this.
Canadian and Akula relatively lost in what to do here. I would say Canadian should probably be behind one of these wrecks. I mean, be safer. Okay, never mind. Yes, no, yes, no, I don't know.
You have to say it loud.
He's still trying to lock out Banjo Man, which is why he's using the Rex in his favor right here, but he is opening himself up to a different angle. If they can take out Banjo Man right now, they are in business.
Here we go. JB Banjo Man running forward, trying to get as much damage as he can. Canadian Impact actually leaving his brother and gonna get surrounded. Akula picking up that kill, but now he's in trouble. No, Canadian Impact actually driving more members into the side of Marsh. Shots going out for out of sight. They actually run into each other. Veggie getting off the cap, knows he needs to come help his team from the back. Marsh with the T-37 pick up Mr. Man. Mr. Man responds. Akula found Giggles. It is now a 2-on-3. Noble slightly having the HP lead, but now it is tied up 2-on-2. Akula, though, one more shot, and he'll go down trying to find refuge behind the Rex. The shot from Mr. Man misses. Akula allowing that to find Mr. Man now, and Canadian Impact should be able to clean up Veggie here. And this looks like this actually will finally, at the end, after a lot of chaos, go over to Noble. They can coordinate this correctly. There it is, the shot going out. Canadian Impact just lining up. He knows he's got time. He takes it with patience, and it pays off there. Noble claiming that one victory, making it now 2-0 against Maple Freedom. But that was a close hell fight right there. That
I've gotta give props to, in particular, Akula's gonna be mad about this, Canadian Impact and Marsh.
Okay.
Great moves. Kept them all in the battle.
Wow.
Akula mostly just had to shoot, and he had the high DPM tank to do it. He only really missed one of note. Let's go to stats. Let's take a quick look at what happened.
There gotta be some stats in there.
All right, so 13 shots, 10 hits, 1 bounce. And that 1 bounce was very critical. We made up for it in another shot. Dodema, perfect 8. Canadian Impact missed one or bounced one that I didn't see. Overall, his move against the rock was clutch. It was so important. And
Really?
Marsh's fallback position to get back there and provide that flank control saved the game.
Wow.
If it weren't for Marsh, that would have been over.
Single-handedly.
But overall, that initial push worked way better than I expected it to. JD Banjoman, all those guys getting in a lot of damage, actually. Felix, got in that one awesome shot before he decided my people need me. Flew right off the cliff.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If Felix wouldn't have died there, put another tank on the side of Maple, that still could have gone. I think I should have gone their favor.
2 tanks would have made all the difference.
Yeah.
Because it's a numbers game at that point. How many times can you fire before we kill you?
Right.
And if Felix had survived, honestly, they probably could have done it anyways. Just pull around the corner, get the first tank you can, whichever one you can put all your shots in and kill, whether it's Akula or a Canadian Impact there. Just wipe them off the map, and the game's in your hands.
Huh.
But there's still Marsh, and he's enough to cause problems. But
cause problems he did. Noble picking up another victory, now 2-0. Going into our next battle, we have switched sides. Maple Freedom now on the defense, Noble on the offense. Let's go right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Maple Freedom with 2 IS-3s, 4 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. Noble with 1 T-32, 5 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37.
Now, if you were Maple in that situation, David, and you just rushed Noble and you got really close, is that enough to just give you a good boost, or is it those fights that when you get so close and then still don't come out on top, you're like, dang, and it kind of brings it down? If you were in that position, would you get pumped up from that?
See, the thing is, it looks like that was just a snap couple. We have a battle, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Oh, that sounds good. Giggles and a Dodo taking some shots at each other. Giggles being the one to reciprocate that T-54. USA rocks out, not getting shot from behind the rock. JD Banjaman as well, taking some more damage. 5 members being lit up for the side of Maple Freedom here. The hill fight is definitely going in favor of Noble, as they have most of their tanks at full health. Only Dodo taking some damage. Now Marsh in that T-37. Getting a little bit of shot there. But again, Veggie, more damage. Giggles, even more going through there. Canadian Impact, though, being focused. Getting dropped to just above half health. That T-32 now dropping below half. Veggie, a beautiful shot there. Dodo on his way up to the rock, taking a lot of damage. Noble starting to maybe lose their grip here, but Maple Freedom going through. Let's see if the push isn't worth it. Marsh, beautiful shots on the out of sight as he is forced to bail off the hill. Canadian Impact, one more shot, and he will go down. Who's going to pick up the first tank of the battle, and will that lead to the victory? There is only one way to find out. Militant, it is going to be taken. USA rocks all down. Dodo now going down to Giggles as he pokes out Germ, lining up that shot. His shot's almost ready. Let's see if he can find it, but in the meantime, Mr. Man finds Canadian Impact. Germ looking for Giggles. He does find the tank he so definitely went out on the line for, and now will sacrifice his life for it as Veggie picks him up. Akula now fighting Veggie in return. Militant taking a lot of damage. Ex-Soldier, a beautiful pickup there. And now just 3 tanks remain for the side of Maple Freedom against the 4 for Noble. The hill, after Mr. Man goes down, will be in control there. The offensive scene, but out of sight, picks up Ex-Soldier. Might even allow Mr. Man to get behind the rock. Man, he's slow, but he made it in time. Now it's going to be Akula going to try to pick him up. The question is, can he find some damage before he does go down? He does. 407 points, and Akula's shot actually misses. And now from the back, Akula taking damage from out of sight. One more, and he will go down. Akula turns out of sight, but Mr. Man responds. A beautiful exchange there. Maple Freedom, though, just have 50 points of HP as Marsh picks up Mr. Man. Marsh showing the MVP of this
Marsh was
final match.
He's a great pickup, man. Like, throughout the entire time he's come back, I've noticed such a difference in his ability to play the T-37. It's great. It's very much what Noble needed in order to start playing a little bit more aggressively. They have a scout that plays difficult decisions. Playing a scout properly is more than simply trying to stay alive. It's knowing you almost have to be a battle caller on your own. And doing that is actually what gave me the most experience to make strategies and whatnot. Okay. Because you have to, everything is a timer in your head. How long is it going to take for this to happen? How long until that guy fires? How long until I can kill him? You have, like, imagine just a wall of stopwatches. And that's in your head. And then so it's like, okay, this guy probably takes about 1.8 seconds to aim. You kind of count it on your head, and then you juke right when he tries to fire. That's what you're trying to do. It's a little bit harder now than it was a long time ago, because the reload times are longer.
And Marsh again,
head-to-head. Not that he could have lost that anyways. It would have been very hard for him to lose that head-to-head, but
picking up the victory now. Noble
happened.
Yeah, that is true. Increasing their victory 3-0 on the Mines. Going into it, let's see if they can, we'll be able to see them pick up a fourth one. But again, a battle getting very close. It got down to a couple hundred points of HP, only a couple tanks surviving for both teams. So Maple doing a good job staying kind of toe-to-toe against Noble right now.
Yes. Statistically, Mr. Man, 23-23. Ex-Soldier and Akula both breaking 2,000. That's all that we really want to talk about.
Okay.
Although, actually, Marsh broke 1,000 in his T-37.
Mm.
And again, in the clutch, he took out of sight. He took out that IS-3. I can't remember exactly who it was. I think it was, it doesn't really matter. Oh, it was Veggie or Mr. Man, either way.
Mr. Man.
I think it was Mr. Man.
Yeah.
Clutch. Huge.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Militant was getting pegged by an LTTB.
All the time.
To figure out where it was and how to get away from it. He's also trying to make sure he can take out the IS-3, because if he doesn't, it's all going to go wrong. He's trying to support his teammate.
Too
situation to be in for Militant. Yeah, man, it's rough. It's rough. But still, 3-0 lead for Noble right now.
Yeah.
Putting it away one match at a time, even though they are messy and close.
Yeah.
It's
get it done.
Highly intriguing. So what we were saying, told you we would get back to, was if you do a rush like that and it doesn't work out, well, if it's a snap call, so if it's just like, I don't know, let's do this.
Okay.
Then if it doesn't work, it doesn't really bother you as much.
Okay.
Now, if it's a planned aggressive move,
like, this is going to work.
Man, I can tell you, we did a lot of this when we played, especially in the first couple seasons. So, okay, we do this. We expect the other team to do this. We have to operate like clockwork, or we lose. We lost season 3 because we kept playing like that, and it kept happening. I'm not going to get into my team and its history. All I'm going to say is, in general,
snap calls
are if it's planned. And again, we'll have to get back to it. The match is starting again.
That's true, ladies and gentlemen. Getting into it, let's see if Noble can increase the victory 4-0, or if Maple Freedom can just pick up one before we go into the second map. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tank.
Maple Freedom with 2 IS-3s, 4 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. Meanwhile, Noble with 1 IS-3, 5 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. So we'll see if Maple Freedom can break the statistical trend. If you bring 1 IS-3 on defense, no real statistical deviance there. If you bring 4 IS-3s on defense, you're actually fairly likely to win, although, again, those are skewed. But 2 or 3 IS-3s, very low probabilities of winning. The only teams that have done it are teams like Refuse and High Voltage. That's it.
Wow. So let's see if Maple Freedom can pull off the same style of plays as those higher tier teams, bringing just those 2 IS-3s here.
3 is actually like the worst.
Yeah.
Out of them all.
Statistically,
it's so bad.
Well, good thing they didn't bring that. So they're not quite in the worst, but they're not looking super good right now off the top. Already down about 500 points of HP and falling as Veggie takes another shot there in that IS-3 on top of the hill. Ex-Soldier has made it on top, safe and sound. Giggles, a lot of damage going through there. Akula being responsible for that, as well as Dodo. And now the response from Maple Freedom trying to find Canadian Impact, who is just on top of the hill, taking the shots as much as he can to anyone who pokes at the top. Ex-Soldier's shot not connecting. Germ taking some damage well, and back and forth damage going through. But it does seem, as this continues, the trend is that Noble continues to come out on top of these little brawls, and this is no exception. USA rocks all going down, the first tank falling. Dodo going to be responsible for that pickup, and now the push from Maple Freedom. Felix running all over JD Bandsman, trying to find the members behind the rock. Let's see if they can pick up any sort of kills. It's going to be Germ, if anybody. Canadian back by JD, but Mr. Man and Felix back-to-back kills, taking down Dodo and Germ. Akula responding by taking Felix. Giggles going down to Ex-Soldier. out of sight. Will pick up Militant for the side of Maple Freedom, but it is just 3 tanks remaining for Maple. Now 2 against 4. Well, now 3 of Noble. The 1 now going down to 0 out of sight. The only one remaining. 276 points of HP. Akula taking 253 of that, and the Ram to finish it up. Noble, a very quick and decisive victory, making their 4th against Maple Freedom here in our final matchup of the night before we close out this season and go into the qualifiers. Well, it looks like Maple Freedom did not break that trend. 2 IS3s. Not quite doing it.
That's all it is. A trend, honestly. I feel like a lot of statistical analysis gets carried away in a lot of things. Well, 70% chance of loss when you're doing this. It's like, okay, that's a useless statistic. Who played who? What were they playing against?
Sure.
There's
A lot goes into
dozens
it.
more variables to take into account
Right.
here. And like I said, the only teams that have broken those trends, unsurprisingly, the teams that are at the top of the league. So perhaps bringing 3 IS3s,
Maybe just
whatever, maybe just be good. And, you know, if you have a chance of, if you're good, your chance of winning is significantly higher, guys. I'll trust in that statistic all day.
He 100% agrees in that. I want to put that on a T-shirt.
So, okay, we're gonna have to finish this conversation we've been getting back to before we get to
Sure,
gets out of
yeah,
pocket.
go now.
If it's a planned, aggressive strategy and it fails, then yes, it hammers your morale.
There we go. Done.
But if you just called it, like, I don't know what else to do, let's do this, or
Didn't work out.
or maybe we could surprise him with this. Most of the time, you just brush it under the rug.
Okay, cool.
Whatever.
Well, now looks like our next map is going to be Chefs. Before we get into that, David, anything as far as statistics? Any top of the charts? Any fantastic? Oh, actually, we're not going to be getting
time
to it
out.
too soon.
Well, in that case,
let's go to stats.
yeah, let's go to stats.
Yeah, let's go to
There's nothing
stats.
to cover. Well, this is what a conversation is going to look like if I went to stats every time, guys. This is all the stats are riot people. This is for you.
Yeah.
Check this out. Perfect 6 from Canadian Impact, 2278. And look, other people shot, hit stuff, got some damage.
Shot
that is
things, killed
completely,
tanks.
It doesn't mean anything. They won, so of course they're going to break 1,000 with multiple people. All that matters when you look at these stats is outlier stuff, like who bounced a lot, who did the most spotting, things that we cover when it's worth it. The rest of the time, you're just going to have to trust me when I say there's nothing worth looking at in stats. Sometimes I miss it.
Okay.
It's easy to miss stuff like friendly damage and stuff like that, but
Sure. Yes,
we'll have to
it comes down to trust. You gotta trust him. He's a trustworthy man.
trust me like Docky does.
Yeah. Build a
That's-
shrine to the man. Ah,
There
it
you
should.
go.
yeah.
What would Docky do?
That's
Then
bet-
don't do
we can-
that.
We can get on a bracelet. There you go. Looks like the timeout has ended. The countdown has started. Now going into steps. Let's say this was all tied up. Let's say it was 2-2. Well, let's say it's the first map. Who would you give, just based on what you've seen on the step, the team
Noble.
advantage? Right. Well, that was quick. Now, not much else I can talk about because that didn't get expanded on.
One is right now about to take third,
I
and
totally.
the other one's getting relegated.
I
and you're,
totally hear you.
like,
But I was saying, like, with Game Over and on Himmelsdorf, right? Like, fighting it's Game Over, like, putting them on Himmelsdorf, like, well, I actually give the advantage to Game Over, even though they're lower down the brackets, they technically showed more superior plays on this certain map. I was just wondering if you've seen
Depends
that
on
from Maple.
the team as well there, It's
Totally.
going with Elevate, it's obviously Elevate proved the point where they're like, it doesn't matter if it's Himmelsdorf
That's
for us, bro.
Yep. If you guys missed that was the first matchup of the night. But right now, the final matchup of the night, Noble versus Maple Freedom. On to steps. Noble is on defense. They just need one more victory to claim it. Let's see if they'll take it. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tank.
Well, Maple Freedom with 1 AMX 1393, T54 lightweights, a T49, and 2 M41 Bulldogs. It's interesting. I'll give you that. Noble, 2 T32s, an RU-251, 3 T54 lightweights, and a T21. So, what it looks like to me on Noble's on defense. Looks like they're just going to probably boost up into the camping spot, as they usually do with the RU-251. And then they're just going to wait for Maple Freedom to attempt to either cap or whatever. Basically, Noble's going to just end it right now. Nothing fancy.
Sure.
They're not gonna play. Oh, well, hold on.
No
on.
boost.
No boost?
No. And Marsh running to Militant.
Why? Oh, okay. He's going. I guess he's going into the other spot. I guess they don't need to do the full boost with this lineup. And actually,
Oh, wow.
perhaps they're making a little bit of a read here, but Maple is actually taking a nearly perfect line to find one of these isolations. It's a little bit open, but with that many light tanks through the camo, And that is the problem. Akula's position can still hit you, but if they can find the right overmatch, they're certainly in this game.
Well, they got to find it quickly because they keep on taking damage. They haven't done any to Noble in return, but here's the overmatch, and here it comes, pushing over the hill is every member of Maple Freedom. Dodo lighting up Felix, though. It is going down, but Mr. Man does find Milton. It's a 1-for-1 exchange. The bloodbath has occurred out of sight, going down extremely low. Actually running into Marsh, who took the damage from Veggie. Canadian Impact finding Giggles, and now Germ picking up USA Roxall. Noble will clean this one up as just 3 tanks now, 2 remain for Maple Freedom against the 4 of Noble, and superior positions by far. Mr. Man and Veggie are surrounded. They will go down any second now. X-Soldier turning his sights to Veggie. Canadian Impact as well. No, Canadian Impact looking to fight Mr. Man. Germ picks that one up, and now just Veggie. Noble now cleaning that victory 5-0 against Maple Freedom, finishing out not only the final match of the night, but the final match of the season before we go into qualifiers. And now Noble, they did it. They got all 3 points. They took the victory, a clean sweep against Maple Freedom, and a fantastic matchup indeed. Any last thoughts before about that final battle that we just saw? I mean, Maple Freedom, like you said, a very interesting line coming across.
The T-49 had a chance of making everything matter, and he only did 300 to a T-32 before he died. So
worth it.
There it goes right there. However, what we do have is our final seeding of everything.
Oh, wow.
So, I believe we should have a bracket we can show here, and it would be, so before we get into that exact thing, I'm sure we'll show it as soon as we have it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show some trust.
Yeah,
hit me with a bracket.
Go bracket. There it is.
Nailed it.
Look at it, ladies and gentlemen. There is the bracket for the quarterfinals. Up first, Elevate versus Simp. Noble versus 07. The winner of Battle 1 will fight off against High Voltage, and the winner of Battle 2 will fight off against Refuse. David, break it down for me.
Well, High Voltage experiencing a significant struggle that I know quite well. Elevate having to deal with a hot #RU, also having some of their own spaghetti moments. And therefore, High Voltage, even though they took first, has to play 2 of the most deadly teams in the playoffs, if you ask me. Really, 07 has always played fairly well, but they throw against bigger teams that have more experience. It happens, right?
Sure.
So Refuse actually has a lighter bracket right now.
Wow.
They have what is most likely going to be Noble.
Okay.
We'll see. People step
Predictions
up their game
coming out
in that whole thing. Oh, I'll predict this.
Yeah.
I believe it'll probably be
High Voltage and Refuse.
High Voltage and Elevate, and then they'll play off for who goes in the finals, and it'll be probably Noble and Refuse.
Okay.
And honestly, throughout that whole thing, it can be anybody's game. But if you're going off prior results,
sure,
and what we've seen, there's a very good chance it'll be High Voltage, unless Elevate's been keeping some stuff in their pocket. They figure out some of their player problems they've been having, which it seems like some of the issues going on is not necessarily just strategically, but player level.
Yeah.
As a caller, you should be able to call a bad strategy and have your players play out of it, as long as it's not catastrophically bad. It's my philosophy.
Good.
So it very, very, very likely could be a High Voltage versus Refuse final, but crazier things have happened, and I would have to say that Noble and Simp have the most to prove going into this to everybody.
All
They're coming in a little bit late and getting on their hot streak late.
That's true.
They could upset everything if they just play well.
And that might be what is just enough to frighten High Voltage and Refuse, the top tier teams that have been making it in. But if you guys missed anything tonight, really quickly, up first, Elevate beat Game Over 5-1, followed by High Voltage beating Lant 5-3. Third was Simp beating Rival 5-1, followed by what you guys just watched, Noble beating Maple 5-0. David, highlight of the night, because mine was High Voltage and Lamp match. That was just by far just the most fun to cast probably this whole season.
I don't know, man. The whole night was a highlight. It's the last day of the regular season, and it's been a blast. I hope everybody out there has enjoyed it as much as we have, taking you down this trip of World of Tanks.
I don't know. World of Tanks explosion. But so speaking, guys, of what you guys can be looking forward to, it's going to be August 20th is the playoffs. That's next Thursday. We do not have a show for you guys Tuesday. We're going to give these teams as much time as they need to prep, to find all the things, all the tricks that they can create to make this playoffs some of those memorable playoffs for you guys. As again, follow us on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. Thank you guys for watching this on BattleViewer.com. How awesome was that? And finally, thank you for following us on Facebook @WGLNA and staying up to date on what's happening in the community around you guys. Again, the finals are going to be October 3rd. $75,000 is what the winning team is going to take home. It's going to be here in Los Angeles. But again, up first will be those playoffs next Thursday, August 20th. Mark it down on your calendars. On behalf of everyone here at the WGLNA, that has been David Williams. I am Christian Toma, and as always,
thanks for stopping by.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No. I stole it from you. You don't get a high five for that.